Lachlan asks, how is anyone here running Jeff Miller low-ticket funnels? Yvonne, I never know how to say that, but he says, yeah, hey, y'all, quick question. Where do you find quality copywriters, funnel builders, social media people? I have projects stuck because I can't find the people we need. So Garrett says, would anyone be willing to share an example SEO audit you would show to a prospect before going through your offer? We tend to have a 10 to 15-minute qualification call and then would present this on the sales follow-up call. I want to ensure that I'm hitting the key points without going overboard or causing overwhelm before the sale. We do a much thorough SEO audit before they become a client. The shocker. The double shocker. I don't even know if we're live, but we're getting the double shocker here. That's how we're starting this baby. The shocker. Fun little story about that just before we get rocking and rolling. First time I drank ayahuasca down in the jungle with a master shaman named Hamilton, who's a dear friend of mine. He had a Buddha hand statue that was sitting on the table and looked like this, and my dirty mind couldn't see anything else. And I said to him, I was like, hey, like your Buddha hand reminds me of the shocker. And he said that they knew and they thought it was hilarious. And anyways, that's a story for another day. Welcome back, everybody, to another weekly Q&A. We are kicking ass and taking names. You guys are building cool shit and asking intelligent questions. So I'm here to ramble off and give my best attempt at an answer after 20 years of doing this. Just so you guys know, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm trying my best here to hopefully give you guys good stuff that helps you guys to succeed. Quick little announcement, just you've been interested in getting some help. I put a link to a document, said work with a crazy dude with abnormally large testicles. There is a link for ways in which we can potentially collaborate together. Other than that, let's get into it. But before we do, I need some shitty dance music, which is all made by AI, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Your questions matter. Let's break it down. Golden guns flex, closing's the game.
Weekly Q&A.
Let's bring the flame.
All right, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Fihn proudly brings you our weekly Q&A. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. All right. As I told you guys many times, I watched too much wrestling growing up. All right, this one wasn't so much a question, but I had something to piggyback on it that was an announcement. Our man, Ibrahim, who's new here, says, what's good? I just Googled best digital marketing agency books, decided to buy Frankie Fihn's book because what it promised really intrigued me. Boy, oh boy, I just bought it yesterday evening. I'm already more than halfway through, man. I'm definitely going to read through that book over and over and over again. Anyways, time to introduce myself. Innit. I'm just a kid in my early 20s that lives in a third world country trying to work with people. In the U.S., I've been in the space for 1.5 years now. Only got 2 clients. Now reading Frankie's stuff. I suppose I'm going to make many, many adjustments. I also worked for the last 2 months as a cold caller for another agency as well, trying to make some money on the side. So I can invest that into my agency's growth. That agency decided to pause cold calling. Now I'm left unhired, and I'm wondering if anybody here is looking to hire commission-based cold callers, leads, appointment setters. I'm here if you need help. Let's freaking crush it together, boy. Just use this funny pic to get your attention. All right, my man. Firstly, welcome to the party. That's the first thing I got to say. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. I see Facebook does this weird thing where it tells me how many comments there are, but I don't actually see them. So I know at least one of you guys has given me a shout out, but it's a little early here. Anyways, so let's talk about something that I wanted to go over with you because a lot of you guys had questions. So I'm in the process right now of putting the final touches on version 3.0 of Beyond the Agency Box. Many of you guys have read version 2.0. Many of the things are exactly the same, but there's quite a few things that are different, newer, updated, more detailed, things like that. It's actually already live. Paperback version is already live on Amazon. The Kindle, I'm waiting for some stuff to get back, and Audible will take me a few weeks to get finished. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about, there were a few things in there that I think are tremendously important that you guys may be interested in. So I've had a lot of questions about people recognize, okay, our offer is the biggest linchpin, but how do we actually make our offer better? And I mean that not as like a matter of just like saying cool words, but actually inherently where the prospect realizes that's more valuable. And so one of the things that I wanted to cover for you guys is how to do that. And it's really in your closeness to the sale. So if you imagine a sale as a process, right? Like, so let's imagine an American football field here. Which hand is it? Sorry, everything's mirrored in here. I'm a little confused. There we go. All right, so we're here. We got a football field. And you know, every 10 yards there's a play, and the goal is to bring it all the way to the end. Well, basically, the more you bring the ball up the football field and do it in a specific way, the more it's going to be valuable. So the lowest tier of like value in an agency is I'm going to run a service for you. Nobody woke up today and said, you know what I really want? I just want to pay for a service. Just cause, right? Right? So it's always about what you're going to get. And a lot of people, their service doesn't offer any outcomes. It doesn't offer any results. It's just like, we're going to do the thing. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's like the lowest tier you can possibly have. Now, the next tier is where most people are, where we'll get you more leads, more opportunities, right? And as many of you guys have found out, especially those of you guys who work with local businesses, they suck at closing opportunities. In fact, some of them, you could bring them 1 million opportunities and they might like by accident close 3. But like, I actually remember like the ultimate example of this. I was thinking about Lana when she first started with yoga studio owners. They have 2 offers, like a monthly membership, but there's an introductory offer of like try 1 class for free. And they found out the yoga studio owners were so bad, they couldn't even close a free class. They don't pick up the phone. They don't call people back. They say really dumb shit on the phone. They sound unfriendly. Sometimes they don't even remember their fucking own hours or address. Like, we're talking really basic shit, but they drop the ball. So like the tier here of I'll bring you leads is one level of value. Now, if you want to make that more valuable, is like focus on the specific types of leads that are more valuable. So that's one way you can enhance it another level further, is like, hey, I will bring you somebody who's interested in joining your monthly membership, right? Like, that's more valuable than I'll just get you a free class, even though they're technically both leads, right? So you can do this almost in every industry. I call this your $100 bill, sell the most expensive thing. Also, if we go a tier past that, beyond just leads, right? There is a tier past that where now you're actually booking somebody into their system and getting them a face-to-face. As many of you guys will find, local businesses are generally better once they're face-to-face. So like the dentist, for example, does not know how to close leads over the phone. But if somebody's face-to-face, they know how to talk intelligently about a dental procedure and can even often close those people once they're face-to-face. So there's a tier past it called face-to-face. And you can go even past that if you get them specific, again, more valuable face-to-face. So like if I'm getting a roofer a face-to-face, like I'll get you somebody in person who wants a leak repair is not going to be as valuable as I'll get you somebody face-to-face that's interested in getting their entire roof replaced, right? And then the ultimate highest value, if you guys want to make your offers a bunch easier to sell, is I'll just bring you sales. And there's even a tier past that of I'll bring your specific sales. So like I have coaching friends that I do partnerships with, for example. And there's a big difference between I'll bring you a sale of your $27 book and I'll bring you a sale of your $40,000 mastermind. All things being equal, they probably would rather sell the $40,000 mastermind, right? So when you help them kind of do those things. So I wanted to lay that out for you guys in version 2.0. Also, we went a lot deeper into Loom videos and structures because I've had so many questions about how do I do this as a video, etc., and linking to different videos and things like that. And then also, there's a whole section in there about artificial intelligence. When I wrote version 1.0 Beyond the Agency Box, there was no AI, so I don't really have much to say about it. But this time, there's a number of ways we're using it, creating tools and things like that. So I specifically told you guys in that chapter it's probably going to be outdated by the time you get it, but nonetheless, it kind of lays out like everything that we're doing with it to hopefully give you some ideas and inspire you. So anyways, I'll let you guys know when that's officially all 3 versions are ready to go. We are finished 1. The paperback is real. It is live. You guys can buy, if you're paperback people, you can go to Amazon, buy that baby, and it's live, as I mentioned. I just hit refresh comments, and there we go. I see Cam says, what's up, bro? See, Cole saying, ask my wife, she'll confirm I say dumb shit every day. You and me both, my man. I'm uniquely qualified for saying dumb shit on the internet. How do you make it so you can see this? I don't know. Sometimes when I refresh the comments, Facebook works, and sometimes it doesn't. So to answer your question, Cam, sometimes I see the comments, sometimes I don't. But I try and like respond to them manually after. So anyways, I'll let you guys know when version 3.0 is live. And for anybody who's already bought it, I'm happy to just give you, especially a digital copy where I don't have any printing costs or whatever. You guys can just have that for free. And Audible will update automatically so you don't have to buy it again. It's just paperback, folks. You may need to grab a newer version if you want. Okay, so Lachlan asks, how is anyone here running Jeff Miller low-ticket funnels? As I mentioned in this thread, for those of you guys who didn't see it, people have asked me specifically about low-ticket funnels, and I'll explain what that is for those of you guys who are not familiar with the term. And I can't specifically comment on Jeff's stuff, although I will endorse Jeff. I think Jeff is cool. I think Jeff puts out good stuff, but I can't speak to his low-ticket funnel stuff. But we do run some low-ticket funnels, and I will tell you kind of like, if you understand the big idea behind it, you'll be able to like make a lot more money. So that's my goal for you guys, make a lot of money easier. So one of the things that happens, just so you guys know, when you tend to run paid advertising as a whole, is it works, but almost always you lose money before you make it. Almost always. Right? So you turn on the ads. And so I found this like when we were trying to first grow our first agency funnels, I think I like lost 10 grand before I started to get the ads dialed in. And then eventually when it worked, it was like a money printing machine and we could get as many clients as we wanted at will. It was great. Other than we had like fulfillment problems up the wazoo, which I'm probably not the best at. It's probably not my greatest strength. But nonetheless, we ran into this challenge, right? So not everybody has like $10,000 to stick into the ad machine or wants to lose it. And so the idea behind a low ticket funnel is if you do it right, it is what is known in the marketing world as an SLO or self-liquidated offer. And a self-liquidating offer really just means that in essence, if you spend $100, you make $100. And so what happens is you don't actually make money on a low ticket funnel, just so you guys know. But what it allows you to do is acquire buyers for free. So in my case, for example, we're running a funnel right now to sell my book. It has a couple of little built-in what are called order bumps or upsells. And a percentage of people take some of those. And what happens is every time we spend $100, we make $100. Right? But in order, the purpose of that, I have other things, right? So I have like live events. So some of those people who buy my book will also later buy a live event. Some of those people will join our Wolfpack Mastermind. So I don't actually intend to make money off a low tick funnel. It's the second and the third and the fourth sale. So for those of you guys who are running like typical agencies, if you wanted to run a low ticket funnel, you're not going to become a millionaire running a low ticket funnel. But what it allows you to do is essentially advertise for free. So you can sell a little book or some sort of low ticket intro, a course, a tool, a software, a swipe file, a custom GPT, stuff like that, where the hurdle to get them to take out their credit card. So for us, for example, the digital copy of the book right now at the time of recording this is $3. So somebody comes in, they have $3, and then we hit them with order bumps, which a percentage of people take, like 10, 20%. But it allows us, in essence, every time we spend $100, we make $100. And so I don't actually make any money off of that low ticket funnel, but all the back end, it's the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth sale where we do that. And so in essence, when you can afford to advertise for free, you can advertise forever. Your business is going to grow if you can afford to advertise. So that's the big idea behind that. And by the way, Jeff Miller did not invent that. That is something that has existed for 100 years. In fact, the direct mail guys, what they used to do, so for example, like a lot of guys sold financial newsletters. Well, it's very hard to get a complete stranger to sign up for a $99 a month recurring newsletter if they don't know who you are, they've never heard of you before. And so where they would start the conversation is, would you like to buy my $49 report that'll show you my 10 best stocks or whatever, or the 10 best options to trade or something like that. And then people would buy the report, and then after they had given that, like had a transaction one time, it was then easier to sell the second thing, which in their case is the recurring membership. And then they could also upsell them like more expensive things still. Like, would you like to actually have our done for you investment program, for example? So the idea behind it is like you're just liquidating your front end ad costs, trying to make advertising for free. If you understand this, anybody can do a low ticket funnel. Like, they're not really that fucking complicated. Where Jeff's stuff would probably come in handy in particular is just with tools and swipe files and templates, so you don't have to figure out all this from scratch. And just so you guys know, it has stopped refreshing. So I hit the button, it still doesn't refresh. I see that there are new comments, but I don't hear shit. But I love you guys. So anyways, if you guys would be interested in more about low ticket funnels, I would be happy to build stuff like that for you guys. We can set it up all in high level and stuff like that. Most of it's already done, to be honest, on our end. We would just need to organize it. But the idea, in essence, is that you can advertise your agency service for free because you're not actually advertising it directly. You're advertising a low ticket thing that leads in, and you break even on the front end. And then on the back end, you're able to then sell your agency service, which is the magic of it. All right, enough about that. Our man, Ivan, I never know how to say that, but he says, yeah, hey, y'all, quick question. Where do you find quality copywriters, funnel builders, social media people? I have projects stuck because I can't find the people we need. So I don't necessarily have some secret magic source of where you get all the good people from, but I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with hiring in general. So I think everybody, when you first get into hiring, at least like me, like I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, like for lack of a better term. And so my batting averages with finding quality people were really low. And even the way I managed people was kind of like, I can remember I was about like 17 years old. I got a job part-time working weekends at this local factory. It was called Cowtex. They make gas tanks for a lot of the Ford, General Motors, Chrysler. I think they had some Volkswagen and stuff in there as well. And anyway, I remember the way they would run the factory is we would all sit in the break room, and then the shift would start, and then the floor supervisor would come in, and he would go, who knows how to run the V12 blah, blah, blah line? Who knows how to do this? Who knows how to do that? And people would volunteer. And then there was always like a couple of newbies that were sitting there, which I was one of them, and I didn't know how to do shit. And so they would go, all right, you come here. And then you get like 10 minutes of training where some guy shows you how to do the thing you're going to do monotonously the rest of the shift. And so when I got to hiring, this is what I did. It was like the powwow in the break room. Like, what do you want me to do today, boss? I don't know, do this. And I eventually, like, I tried to do what most people do, which is to try and find unicorns. Try and find people that were just like mega awesome, super qualified, and knew what to do right out of the gate, could just solve all my problems. And I'll tell you, my batting averages for that were extremely, extremely low. I'm not saying you can't find those people, but I would be lucky if like 1 out of 50 people that worked with me fit that description. So in essence, your question to me, the reason I go here, your question to me reads, where can I find the unicorns? And the answer is, there's some prerequisite work that if you do, will make it so you'll have a lot more unicorns in your system. And I'll tell you what I came to realize is that there are businesses out there, McDonald's comes to mind, which is a great business, not necessarily a great product. Like, they make shitty burgers, but they have a phenomenal business model. Like, nobody would argue against McDonald's as a business model. And one of the things is McDonald's believes in systems first and people second. And so, like, they're not looking for Gordon Ramsay to come in and be this amazing burger chef. The opposite is they just want somebody who can follow the damn fucking instructions. And so what I found is the more you have systematic processes and tools, my batting averages went from like 1 in 20 or 1 in 50 to like 8 in 10. So that means if I hire 10 people, like, not 100% of them will work out because people are still people. Like, I've had people flake and disappear and things like that. But I'll tell you, my batting averages have gone to like 80%. So if I hire 10 people, I expect 8 of them to work out. So that to me, like, when you ask the question, where can I find quality copywriters? What is your structure now for producing great copy? The more you can at least bullet point and systematize and organize that, you'll find that you can actually come up with like really great copywriters who know almost nothing, especially in the Chat GPT age. If you can break it down into a process that you follow. So like for us, for example, where I always begin our copywriting or our offer making is I go to the audience and I ask fucking questions and I shut my fucking mouth and I listen. That's step one. You can teach somebody to do that, by the way. Right? It's not like some magic skill I have. Just ask some good questions, shut the fuck up, listen to the answers, and record those and realize what problems people are trying to solve and challenges and where they get stuck along the way and things like that. And then we have a process for assimilating that. And then we have a process for creating offers. All of these things can be taught to other people, right? So this is why I say if you're starting with the unicorn of trying to find somebody who automatically knows how to do that, expect to have extremely low batting averages, but the more you have a systematic way to arrive at there consistently, the easier you're going to find somebody. So let me give you another example, okay? So you mentioned a funnel builder. Most of my funnels these days, like I just sketch out on a fucking piece of paper and hand to them as a napkin. I want this section, blah, blah, blah. And so we're able to give them like, you know, in essence, the box, the framework, right? So we're not looking for funnel builders to magically know how to do it. And again, we have a systematic process for creating those upsells and those order bumps and things like that. So this can all be taught to somebody. So this is my way of telling you, your question reads to me, how do I find a unicorn? Good luck with that. Never solve that problem. But if you figure out if you do the prerequisite work and go, what processes are we using that work? How can we break those down so that somebody else can follow in our footsteps? And the best way to do this is next time you got to build a funnel or next time you got to create some copy, document what the fuck you're doing and why you're doing it. And I like to just sometimes like literally just hit record on a screen and talk as I'm doing the task. And set it up so that somebody else can then follow in your footsteps and repeat that process. And this is true with anything. And this was a big aha for me. I don't know if any of you guys read the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. First time I realized that, I used to think all these thoughts that a lot of you guys probably do. It's easier to do it myself. If you want it done right, do it yourself. It's faster. You're the only one who cares about the business and things like that. And what happens is each individual task goes faster because you're going to do it faster than anyone else because it's your fucking company and you care the most. It's your business. It's your life. But your machine is going to go 1,000 times slower because everything's going to depend on you. And if you can multiply your output by like 10 people, 20 people, plus AI tools and automation, you're going to get far more produced of value for other people than if everything depends on you. And so what I started to realize is that everything I was doing when I read the E-Myth is that it was a step-by-step process. And all I had to do was take the process that was here and get it out and document it so that somebody else could follow my step-by-step, right? Like the first guy who made a Big Mac probably thought he had discovered some super secret thing. In fact, I actually am reading Ray Kroc's book right now, and he was talking about the process they use to create the French fries. The first time they made French fries in the California location, they turned out really awesome, but then they found out in other locations they weren't as good and they couldn't figure out why. And so they broke down the process step by step. They found out they were air drying them outside, that made the potatoes like crunchier and taste better. So then they started air drying them outside in other locations, and some places were too cold, so they had to emulate air drying outside. And when they started to do that, they could consistently produce French fries. Now a new owner doesn't have to be this magic French fry chef that knows what to do. Just follow the damn fucking steps, right? So if you guys want to have better success with hiring, the two biggest things that have been a game changer for me when it comes to finding good people, one, have systems and processes, instructions, clear tasks. And two, like I said, trial assignments. And I haven't actually, I've said this before, but I guess I haven't gone deep on this today. But test people on the shit they're going to do. If you want to work with me, let's work together for a period of time and see how it goes. And what you'll find is you'll learn more about people from actually working together. Again, I just want to reiterate that the comments are no longer refreshing. So I will see what you guys, last few comments after the fact. But anyways, I'm rambling on about this just because I want you guys to find good people who help you. But man, there's you got to do a little bit of homework first. And if you don't do that, you ain't going to find good people in my experience. I'm not saying it can't be done, but man, hiring is a process. And man, you make that process harder if you're looking for unicorns. Don't look for unicorns. By the way, my middle daughter believes unicorns are real and that they live in Thailand. She asks me every day if we can go to Thailand. I've lived in Thailand, and ain't no unicorns there, but there's a lot of crazy motherfuckers on those little tuk-tuks riding around all day. Anyways, that's a story for another day. All right. So our man Wada says, looking for feedback on my pricing strategy. I'm launching a service specifically for a niche to help automate their marketing, increase customer retention, and improve engagement. I know that others recommend starting at $1,000 to $5,000 per month, but I'm considering starting at a lower price to gain traction and build momentum. Here's the current pricing structure. Starter, $299 a month. Basic automation, reminders, and follow-ups. Growth, $499 per month, everything in starter plus additional engagement tools and a landing page. Elite, $999 a month, everything in gross plus AI automation, social media integration, advanced reporting. Would like to hear your thoughts. Should I start to lower to build traction or stick to the $1,000 plus model from the beginning? I'd appreciate any insights from those experience in pricing and working with local businesses. So firstly, I think because you're in a software and your question is like a software, like a SaaS model, like you're going to be in probably a pricing tier that's different than most agencies, but your fulfillment's also going to be 1,000 times easier. Like we have a guy who's in our Fast Starters program named Kevin, who's been crushing it lately, and he sells a Google review software that helps businesses to get like a bunch of Google reviews. I believe, don't quote me on it, but I think it's like $300-400 a month, something like that. And he's signing up people left and right with it. And once he signs them up, like there's almost no fulfillment because the automations are the fulfillment, right? And they're doing the heavy lifting. And also, he doesn't even really have to report on it because the client gets an email every other day going, so-and-so left you a Google review. So they can see the benefit of his work so he doesn't have to sell them on that. So in your particular case, I think the pricing is okay. And just so you guys know, pricing is a fluid thing. And the most fluid detail is not all the things you listed, your deliverables, how many automations they get, how many landing pages. It is based on the size of the client and the volume the client is doing. So for example, if I do SEO for a single dentist who like has one tiny location in a strip mall, $500 to $2,000 a month is probably the most I'm going to be able to charge him. If I'm doing it for a dentist who has a staff of 20 in a busy, thriving practice that has 5 dentists working there, then I'm probably going to be able to charge like $2,000 to $5,000 a month for that exact same SEO service. And if I do it for a dentist that has 12 locations across 3 states and they're expanding and they got multiple locations and complex dynamics and staff of 300, I can probably charge $10,000 a month for that exact same service. So the biggest variable in your pricing is not based on all the stuff you said. Like that implied that if you get more stuff, it's inherently more valuable. And the reason why it's more valuable for bigger people, because bigger people get a bigger result. So like I mentioned, Mandy Ellefson was talking about this. Like she likes to work with businesses that do 100 million because if you move the needle 1%, guess what happens? They make $1 million, right? It's very easy to justify a $200,000 per year fee if you make them $1 million. Hard to do that. Hard to multiply zeros. Hard to make $1 million that easily for a business that's doing zero, one with volume and traction. So the other thing I wanted to point out is your offer right now is very much about deliverables, what I would call hammers. And that's the hardest way you're going to charge for it. So you mentioned things like automations and landing pages and calendar bookings and social media management. Those are all hammers and nobody wants hammers. I've mentioned this a lot of times, but I see this come up again and again, so I'm probably just going to keep talking about it till I'm, I guess, say red in the face, not blue in the face, because I got a tan going on right now. Anyways, so nobody anywhere in the world, I shouldn't say nobody, but very few people woke up and said, you know what I really need today? Today's the day I'm going to buy a hammer. Everybody who buys a hammer is trying to build something. And by the way, if you talk to 10 different niches, what they're trying to build with the exact same hammer is a different thing, right? Like if for example, you have a system that gets people leads, well, a roofer is trying to get full roofing installs. A solar guy's trying to sell solar panels. Dentist is trying to fix people's teeth, right? Like the actual things they're building with the hammer are different from person to person. And so you will have far better success selling that exact same thing if you can explain the problems that the hammer solves and the outcome it creates, right? So for example, let's say somebody says, I want to kill my ex-wife, right? I don't actually have an ex-wife. It's going to be hard to do that if you don't got a tool to whack her over the head, right? Another person may say, hey, I want to build a birdhouse and have some quality time with my daughter. It's going to be hard to do that if you don't have a hammer to build it. So I mentioned this before, but like another example of this is like what I call the plane ride. Every service out there, and any of you guys listening to this, whether you do SEO, pay-per-click, websites, funnels, sales copy, go high level, don't fucking matter. They're all plane rides and hammers, right? And so what I mean by that is whenever I've booked a flight, I don't know how you guys do this personally, the first thing I want to know is, does the flight go to where I'm trying to get to, and does it leave my destination? Before that, any other pricing, luxury seats, first class, business class, extra leg room, none of that shit means anything if you don't leave where I'm trying to leave from and go to where I'm trying to go to, right? So I'm actually looking at some flights for JC and Karen Heights event. And so I have to get from La Paz, Mexico to Searcy, Arkansas. So I'm going to Frog Balls, Arkansas to hang with some cool folks. And so I want to know, like, the simplest and most direct way to get there. Then I will consider details like leg room and stuff like that. So if you think about this, where they are leaving from, like the airport they're leaving from is like their problems. Do you fix these problems that I have? I'm getting too many tire kickers. I don't have regular work for my guys. My hygienist doesn't have any work. It's the slow season. We're not getting a lot of calls. Our salesperson just quit and we don't know how to close anybody. So it first needs to leave the destination airport, and then it also needs to go where they're trying to get to. Hey, we're at 1.5 million. I'd love to be at 2 million by the end of the year. Can you assist them in that process? Maybe you don't get them all the way there by yourself, but do you assist in that direction with it? If you don't, by the way, you're going to have a really hard time selling anything. So this is why the reason I say this, because if I reread your packages, it basically says $2.99 a month hammer, $4.99 a month, a bigger hammer, $9.99 a month, our biggest hammer. So I'll read this to you again so you can hear what I'm saying. Starter, $2.99 a month, basic automation, reminders, and follow-ups. You know who woke up today and said, I want reminders and automations? Nobody! But I bet you a dentist would go, people are no-showing in my chair. Can you make them fucking show up to the appointment they booked? Yes, I can. I can do that with automations and reminders. But they're not buying automations and reminders. They're buying, can you make the fucker show up in the chair? Right? So you want to be very, very clear that whoever you're selling it to, that it is closer to, I will make the fucker in the chair show up, and less about, we got automations and reminders and bookings and calendars and landing pages. Come get them, right? Because they don't care about those things. So just make sure you're talking about the right shit. And the right shit is what it does for them, not your interpretation of it. An awesome example of this, I saw two guys, they were arguing in a cartoon. And a guy was holding up a book. And so if you imagine like this as a book, obviously it's not. But on one side of the book it was red, and then on the other side of it was blue. So imagine this blank side is blue. And my little girls drew me some hearts, as you can see. It says, Papa. It's how cute. Anyways. I have they make 20 of these a day, though. I don't know what to do with them all. To show you guys a little bit of this. This is my situation. I got like a unicorn over here. I got a mermaid and a shark. It's adorable, but too many paintings. Anyways, so while they're arguing about this book, one guy says, the book is red. And the other guy goes, no, you fucking idiot. It's blue. And they're arguing back and forth. And what they don't realize is if you just turn the book around, they would see the other person's perspective. Oh, I get it. I see why you see it's red. I see why you say it's blue. Almost always when people describe their services, they describe it from their perspective. They go, it's blue. It's automations. It's calendar bookings. It's landing pages. And you need to describe it, what that does for the other person, and describe the red cover, which is, I will put the fucker in the chair for you. How many people no-show in a chair in a week? So you tell me you got 10 appointments and those motherfuckers don't show up? Well, let me tell you, I can fix that. Like, all you got to do is, like, just remind them and remind them and remind them. And you're not going to do that manually, but my software will make sure they actually show up to the appointment they booked. So anyways, I'm rambling a little bit, but I just wanted to let you guys know that because I see this again and again where people are selling hammers and plane rides and ain't nobody buying hammers and plane rides. And if you sell hammers and plane rides, your ass is going to be broke and your shit is going to be hard to sell. If you sell solutions to problems, I'll put the fucker in the chair for you. You're going to have a hard time keeping money away. Even though it may be the exact same deliverable. In their mind, it's a different thing, right? And I see this a lot, like for those of you guys who sell SEO, what do you guys talk about? SEO. We will get you top Google, number one, top Google, top ranking, right? Nobody cares. That's your perspective on it. That's the blue side. But the red side, once they have a top ranking, what happens to them? And for us, it was like you'll get 50 to 100 Category 3 flood jobs a month where somebody will call you up and say, it's raining in my living room. Can you come? Help me, please. I got an emergency here. So anyways, hope that's helpful. We got one last question. Again, there's a bunch of new comments that I can't read and don't refresh, but I'll see you guys after. Let's go here. So Garrett says, would anyone be willing to share an example SEO audit you would show to a prospect before going through your offer? We tend to have a 10 to 15 minute qualification call and then would present this on the sales follow-up call. I want to ensure that I'm hitting the key points without going overboard or causing overwhelm before the sale. We do a much thorough SEO audit before they become a client. All right. I'm going to give you guys a cheat code for those of you guys who are trying to sell SEO through audits. And this is what has worked for us. There is more than one way to be successful with this. So I'm just going to give you our personal formula as somebody who sold a lot of SEO and also for a lot of years didn't know how to sell SEO. Ironically, we had our first agency was predominantly a white label SEO agency and other people sold the SEO and we fulfilled on it. But I actually didn't know how to sell it. If I didn't have partners, I would have been broke. Like broke as a motherfucking joke, just to let you guys know. So it took me about 10 years to figure the shit out. So I just say that to you because I have compassion that you can know how to do SEO and not know how to sell SEO. Those are like two different things. So anyway, let's talk about selling SEO, okay? What most people sell is the wrong shit, which is what I would call future gain. Future gain is like, you are going to have a better tomorrow. And everybody wants a better tomorrow, but that doesn't motivate me to do shit today, right? So like if you think about this, like imagine I say to you, let's exercise every day for a year, and a year from now, you're going to be in the best shape of your life. I'm sure that maybe holds some appeal, but it's hard to like think about I'm going to be in a year from now in a certain place. And so what ends up happening is a lot of times when people sell SEO, they sell you're going to get more leads, you're going to get more customers, but in 6 to 12 months from now. But none of that really does anything today. So I'll tell you where I always start the SEO audit is I want to make it a today problem. And the way you do that is you pull up 3 or 4 example keywords, you search them on the Google, and you show the client that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 competitors ahead of them that they probably know and know their names and go, those motherfuckers are getting your business right now. So for example, like I would do a search for plastic surgery Dallas and go, hey, look here, you're number 12. So you see these 11 guys, especially this guy right here at the top, Dr. So-and-so. Dr. So-and-so is getting like, probably like just from this one keyword, 50 to 100 patients every month that you're not getting. And almost always you got to pause for a second and allow them to have an almost visceral reaction. Does not matter the industry, by the way. They will all say the same thing. They'll go, that guy, he's a terrible fucking plumber. He's a horrible dentist. He doesn't know how to, he's not a lawyer. That guy's a terrible accountant. And that emotional reaction, by the way, creates the motivation for wanting to solve the problem. So for us, before you begin anything, And don't just skip over this quickly. Show them 3, 4, 5 examples of where they're losing business right now. Boom. It is a today problem. And estimate, you can, based on the Google keyword tool, you can show them this, like 1,000 people a month are searching this keyword, plastic surgery Dallas, and that's just one keyword. And he's probably getting, like, if I had to estimate, like probably about 50 phone calls. And, you know, based on your booking rates, like he's getting 30 patients from those 50 phone calls. And you're not. Are you okay with that? So that's the first thing. Now, I'll tell you the other biggest piece that's missing from most people is a real tangible plan. So a lot of times they'll run numbers and do an analysis, and then they'll say generic platitudes. We're going to optimize, analyze, and improve. And a client just really wants to know in no bullshit terms, what are you going to actually do? And by the way, they're not looking at this because they actually want to do that. They're just looking for you as a demonstration. Does this person actually know what the fuck they're doing? And do they have a real plan of action? So I think about this. These are internet hands. Like, I don't fix shit. But like, let's say, for example, I wanted to build a deck and I'm hiring a guy. I'm going to look for some demonstration. Like, let's say I get 3, 4 of them to give me quotes on a deck. I'm looking for some demonstration that they actually know how to build a deck. So, for example, if they said to me something like, I'll give you a good example of it done well. If they said to me, well, Frankie, I just had Larry go and measure all this out so we know exactly how much lumber we need. We're going to head over to Home Depot. They got a sale on lumber right now. I'm going to calculate based on the sale exactly how much we need and how much it would cost. Then I'm going to give you a quote based on the price of lumber, and you tell me thumbs up, thumbs down. If you like that quote, what I'll do is I'll come by tomorrow and I will build all the frame of the deck. Then it's going to take us another day. We're going to put in all the finishing pieces and we're going to sand it. And then we're going to stain it. You won't be able to walk on it for a day when I stain it. But if you let it just dry one whole day, then you'll be able to, in 48, 72 hours from now, have a brand new deck and have all the barbecues you want. And it'll be a beautiful outdoor space. How does that sound to you? Okay, so I'm not looking as the buyer of him like I don't actually want to build a deck. I don't want detailed steps. Like, I don't care what hammer he's using or whether he's using the 1095 screws or whatever. Obviously, you guys can tell that are actual contractors that I'm just bullshitting here and don't know what I'm talking about with building decks, just to illustrate a point. But so what they're looking for from you in an SEO audit is not to fucking bedazzle them with numbers and not to analyze, optimize, improve, and blah, blah, blah. They want to see some real tangible shit that's going to go down, and it has to kind of make logical sense. So, like, given that, like, say, hey, remember you told me you want to get a bunch of plastic surgery patients in the door? Well, look at your fucking headline. It's not even, like, the headline on your website says Dr. So-and-so. It does not say Plastic Surgery Dallas. How are we going to rank for Plastic Surgery Dallas if your website's not optimized for the thing we're trying to get in front of? Then I might pull up their Google business listing. You said you want patients. Well, look at this. They got 100 reviews. You got 50. How are we going to fucking beat them if we got half the reviews? You don't have any pictures of your work, right? Like, they can't see any awards you've won. You got all this cool shit. You're not showing it off. So I want to change these 3 things on your website. Hey, you need, like, look how much content their website has. You're like 40 pieces of content. So I want to, like, drip feed a new piece of content every week so that you become the authority in that marketplace. And if you do those 2 things, by the way, in an SEO audit, thing number 1, make some real pain today. Show them you are losing if you do nothing. And if they're okay with that, that's totally fine. But you want to make it a today problem. And then the second thing is, I have a real tangible plan to fix it. We're going to stain your deck. We're going to sand it out. We're going to measure it out. We're going to do this and that. Here's how we're going to fix it. By the way, it doesn't even matter if you actually know how to build a deck or not. I would not encourage you guys to use this in a negative way where you, like, you know, scam people out of money or anything. You know, promise what you can actually do and not more. But having said that, like, this is how it's done. You got to show them, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And so they're looking for a demonstration of you, that you have something real and tangible in a way they can understand. I'm going to update your website. I'm going to change your GBP. I'm going to build this content. I'm going to build you 100 links just like this. I'm going to send you this kind of report every month. I'm going to update you. I'm going to do this. Right? The more you have something real and tangible, you're going to sell SEO audits. Now, I've seen a lot of SEO audits because a lot of you guys send me shit and go, What do you think of this? And here's what a lot of you guys do. You pull up some numbers and charts and graphs, and you say, like, okay, here's an analysis. Your website is a 64 out of 100 according to our domain score on blah, blah, blah. And a client doesn't understand. All he understands is, like, ABC Roofing is kicking my ass, and how are we going to fix that, right? So if you get, like, way deep into the technical analysis and weeds and keywords and all that shit, you're going to lose the client, by the way, because they just won't understand what any of it means, right? It'd be like the equivalent of a contractor comes to me and shows me, oh, I got the L75, saw, and I got the nail gun 2000, and great, and we're going to run an analysis, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, great, do you know how to build decks so I can have barbecues? And he's trying to explain to me in his tech speak that's what he's going to do. But if I don't understand it, I can't hire him. I can't hire him because I don't get what he's trying to say. So I'm rambling a little bit on this, but I just want to be really, really clear that, like, SEO audits, and there's more than one way to do this, but find a way to make it a today problem. You're losing, and find a way to demonstrate a clear, believable, actionable plan. By the way, the difference in this, and my favorite example of this, because a lot of people in the space who are beginning or trying to secure those first few clients think that their limitation is that I don't have enough case studies, I don't have enough testimonials, I don't have enough proof. And the ultimate proof is that, like, yeah, I know exactly how to build this fucking deck, right? Like, and the more you show them you got a plan and you know how to do it and you know how to execute it, and you know where to get the lumber and all that shit, they don't ask you, like, tell me 27 other people you've built a deck for. That comes up when you haven't demonstrated a clear, believable, this is what I'm going to do for you kind of plan. And so my favorite example of this is and this is not somebody I know personally, but they were asking, how did you get your first client? And one of the ladies said, somebody in the local Facebook group posted, I need a new website, and they had 200 people respond in the first hour. So they decided to go to the business that was local to them, because it was like, it was a local place. They drove there and they printed out two things. Okay, so I'm gonna use my kids' drawings, and they had the old website on one hand, like, in other words, their existing website, and then they made a new mock-up, and they just did this in Canva. Like, it wasn't programmed, it wasn't real, it wasn't like a tangible thing, but they said, this is what I want to build you. They drove to the business and they said, hey, I saw on your thing that you're looking to build a website. This is your website now. This is the one I want to build you. What do you think? And the person said, wow, that looks way better. This is exactly how I want our thing. And they gave them a check to build it. Now, what most people are doing is not demonstrating a plan. So they're going, this is your old shitty website, hire us, and we do WordPress optimized, mobile friendly, technical spec, blah, blah, blah. And that person's going, yeah, but I just got, like, can you sell Chinese food on my fucking website? And the more you go, let me show you exactly what I'm going to do for you, and that becomes real and tangible, the more they're going to hand you checks. So I've mentioned this before, but most people have the order of things backwards. They think, give me the money, and then I will come up with the plan. And I promise you, I give you the plan, now give me the money to execute it, is actually the correct order, right? I got your fucking website built right here. Cut me a check and I'll finish it. And so when it comes to SEO, there's a tendency to think that you're going to start all the audits and analysis and tangible action steps after they cut you the check. And it needs to be before. You need to go, I'm going to update this on your website. I'm going to do that. And by the way, you don't actually have to make those changes to summarize the changes that will be made. You don't actually have to build the deck to summarize the process of building the deck. You just have to tell them, I'm going to go to Home Depot, because that's where they sell the lumber. Right? I'm going to measure it all out so I know exactly how much I need, plus a little bit extra just in case. So anyways, I share that with you guys because if you want to sell some stuff in audits, do that. At least that is what's worked for us. I'm sure there's other people who have cool processes. So I'm not saying like I'm the only one who figured out how to sell SEO, but you can do that, by the way, and do that phoneless and not have to talk to people. They'll buy it straight from the audit. And I give them the price right at the end of it. Like, why jump on a call? This is what I'm going to do for you. And usually by that way, if they request a call after an audit where you showed them exactly what you're going to do and you showed them the price, they got one last minute question and they're about 2 seconds away from buying it. They go, well, Everything you said makes sense, but I got one more question. Blah blah blah. What about this? What about that? Cool. There you go. Anything else? No? Cool. Do you want to get started? Yeah. What do we do? Where do we go from here? So as I mentioned earlier, by the way, I don't know, Facebook stopped refreshing the comments, so I don't see all the cool stuff you guys have been saying. Hopefully heckling me and throwing tomatoes across the internet going, fuck you, dude. But anyways, I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys because this is a really common thing. It's like, you know, I struggled for 10 years with how do you sell SEO. And if the first thing is, if you make it a better tomorrow instead of a today problem, like people mentally categorize that as that would be nice to have, but not I need this now. The minute it dawns on them, how much patience do you think you're losing to Dr. ABC across town, who, as we stated, is a terrible dentist? How much do you think you're losing to him right now? If 1,000 people a month are searching this one keyword, and then another 1,200 are searching this keyword, another 800 over here, and I just showed you another one. And by the way, these are all different searches: plastic surgery, plastic surgeon, plastic surgeons, plastic cosmetic surgery, cosmetic surgeon, like all those variations. I'm like, there's like thousands and thousands of people looking for you, and instead they're finding Dr. So-and-so. What do you think is happening for him that isn't happening for you? That guy's a terrible whatever. So we make it a today problem. Then we demonstrate a clear, believable, actionable, I know how to fix this. And you can still be real about them. It's like, I'm not going to fix this in 5 minutes, but I know exactly how to fix this. They got 50 reviews, or they got 100 reviews. You got 50. We got to have at least 51. You can't be number one in Google and be second best in all the important metrics. Let's make you the best. Anyways, hope that's helpful to you guys. I know you guys probably asked some intelligent questions. I might have to spill the ones I can't see right now for next week. But that's all I got for questions right now. I appreciate you guys coming on here and jamming with me. As I mentioned earlier, we two things, actually. One is I mentioned that version 3.0 of Beyond the Agency Box, the physical version is live on the Amazon. The Kindle version will be next little while. I'm just waiting on somebody to finish that. And then also the Audible will be a few weeks because there's more involved in Audible. But I will get you guys an Audible. Other than the paperback version, you guys will automatically get that. So if you have Kindle, it'll automatically update for you. If you have Audible, it will automatically update for you to the newest version. And also, if you guys are interested in getting my help with some shit, there is I don't know, somewhere around here it says right now, work with a crazy dude with abnormally large testicles. So you know we keep it extra professional around here, as you can see. But if you guys want to talk about testicles and fun stuff and build businesses in fun ways, let's party. That's all I got for you guys on this Monday. I appreciate you guys coming on here and jamming with me. Much love. Happy Monday. May the force be with you. And for those of you guys checking out the replay on the old YouTube, appreciate you guys too. Hey guys, if you like this video, you may also like my best-selling book here, Beyond the Agency Box. It is all about scaling a digital marketing agency while eliminating meetings and phone calls. We actually sell our stuff phoneless. We don't have any client meetings, and we also hire our team entirely without meeting phone calls, which allows us to, you know, like actually kind of live a life. I've laid out the entire blueprint in everything you need to know: getting clients, onboarding, setting expectations, scaling, building a team, you name it. It has been a bestseller on Amazon now for over 5 straight years, but now you can get it even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. So I can't tell you the exact price because it may change when this video is released, but there should be a link to it below, either in the description of the video or as well as a pinned comment. So if you're interested in that, check out that video and you can get a copy for super cheap.